The Art of Listening, How to Speak Less and Understand More. Introduction. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling unheard, or found yourself talking too much, only to realize later that you missed what really mattered? We live in a world where speaking is often seen as power, but real power lies in understanding. The best communicators don't talk the most. They listen, they observe. They know when to speak and when to stay silent. This book is about mastering that balance. It will show you how to speak less while understanding more. You'll learn how to listen with purpose, ask the right questions, and pick up on what's not being said. You'll discover how silence can be your greatest tool, one that earns respect, builds trust, and deepens connections. By the end of this journey, you'll have a new approach to communication. You'll know how to make every word count, and most importantly, you'll develop the skills to truly understand the people around you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Power of Listening. The missing skill in communication. Think about the last conversation you had. Were you truly listening, or were you simply waiting for your turn to speak? Most people believe that good communication is about how well we express ourselves, but in reality, the true power lies in how well we listen. Listening is not just about hearing words. It is about understanding what is being said and what is left unsaid. It is about being fully present and engaged. In this chapter, we will explore why listening is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. We will uncover how it can transform relationships, improve decision-making, and enhance every area of your life. You will learn how to listen with intention, how to understand more with fewer words, and how to use listening as a tool for influence and connection. Why we struggle to listen. We live in a world filled with noise. Social media, instant messaging, and constant notifications fight for our attention. We have been conditioned to react quickly rather than reflect deeply. This has made genuine listening a rare skill. Many of us hear words, but we do not always process their meaning. One reason we struggle to listen is our desire to be heard. We often think about what we will say next instead of focusing on what is being said now. Another reason is distraction. When our minds are busy, our ears stop working. Stress, fatigue, and even our emotions can block our ability to truly listen. But there is good news. Listening is not an ability you are born with. It is a skill that can be learned, refined, and mastered. And once you do, it will change how you connect with the world. The power of being heard. Imagine sharing a thought with someone who gives you their full attention. They maintain eye contact. They nod in understanding. They do not interrupt. They do not rush to give advice. Instead, they make you feel valued. That is the power of listening. People crave to be heard. They want to feel understood. When you become a great listener, you give others a rare gift. The gift of being seen. This strengthens relationships, builds trust, and makes people more willing to open up. It also makes you someone people naturally gravitate toward. In business, leaders who listen gain respect. In friendships, good listeners build deeper bonds. In personal relationships, true listening fosters connection. The impact is profound. And it all starts with one simple change: being fully present. Listening versus hearing. There is a big difference between listening and hearing. Hearing happens automatically. It is passive. Your ears pick up sound, but your mind may not process it. Listening, on the other hand, is active. It requires effort. It means giving your full attention, processing what is being said, and responding thoughtfully. Think about a time when someone nodded along as you spoke but later forgot everything you said. They heard you, but they did not listen. Now think about a time when someone remembered a small detail from a conversation you had weeks ago. That is the power of real listening. It makes people feel valued and understood. How listening strengthens relationships. Great relationships, whether personal or professional, are built on trust. And trust is built through understanding. When you listen well, you show people that they matter. You validate their thoughts and emotions. This creates a sense of security and deepens connections. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever felt disconnected from someone, even though you spoke to them often? Chances are, there was a lack of true listening. Words were exchanged, but understanding was missing. On the other hand, have you ever had a conversation where you felt truly heard? Those moments create lasting bonds. The truth is, listening is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to strengthen any relationship. It is not about having the perfect response. It is about being present. The role of silence in listening. Many people fear silence in conversation. They rush to fill the gaps. But silence can be a powerful tool. It gives space for thoughts to settle. It allows people to express themselves fully. And it encourages deeper reflection. When you pause before responding, you give yourself time to process what was said. You also show respect for the speaker's words. Silence is not awkward when used with purpose. Instead, it is a sign of deep engagement. Practical ways to become a better listener. Becoming a better listener is not difficult. It requires small but intentional changes. Here are some simple steps you can take. Give your full attention. Put away distractions. Maintain eye contact. Show that you are fully present. Pause before responding. Instead of rushing to reply, take a moment, let their words sink in. Ask thoughtful questions. Instead of making assumptions, ask questions that encourage deeper conversation. Use nonverbal cues. A nod, a smile, or a change in posture can show you are engaged. Repeat key points. This shows that you understand and value what was said. Listen to understand, not to reply. Shift your mindset. Your goal should be to understand the speaker, not to prepare your next statement. The lasting impact of listening. The more you practice listening, the more you will see its impact. You will notice that people respond to you differently. Conversations will become more meaningful. Your relationships will grow stronger. Listening is not about staying silent. It is about creating space for true connection. It is about being fully present. When you master the power of listening, you will find that you do not need to speak as much to make an impact. Your words will carry more weight, and your understanding of the world around you will deepen. In the next chapter, we will explore a common misconception: the belief that speaking more makes you more influential. You will learn why the myth of more words often leads to less impact, and how speaking less can actually give you more control over conversations. For now, take a moment to reflect. The next time you engage in a conversation, try to truly listen. Be present, pay attention, and watch how it transforms your interactions. Let's continue this journey together. Chapter 2. The myth of more words. When talking more means understanding less. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone spoke endlessly, filling every pause with words yet somehow said very little? Or perhaps you have caught yourself talking too much, only to realize later that your message got lost in the flood of words. Many people believe that talking more makes them sound intelligent, persuasive, or authoritative. But the reality is quite the opposite. More words do not always mean better communication. In fact, they often lead to confusion, misunderstandings, and even frustration. In this chapter, we will explore why speaking less can be more powerful than speaking more. We will examine how excessive talking dilutes meaning, weakens influence, and hinders understanding. You will learn why brevity creates impact and how choosing words wisely can lead to deeper connections and greater respect. Why we talk too much. There are many reasons why people feel the need to talk excessively. Some speak out of nervousness, using words to fill the silence. Others believe that more words show confidence and knowledge. Many fear being misunderstood, so they over-explain. But the truth is, talking too much often has the opposite effect. Instead of making us appear more intelligent, it makes us seem unfocused. Instead of building authority, it makes us seem uncertain. Instead of fostering connection, it can push people away. One of the main reasons people talk too much is the fear of silence. They see pauses in conversation as awkward rather than powerful. But silence, when used correctly, draws people in. It gives weight to your words. It allows others to absorb what you are saying. Another reason is the need for validation. Some people feel they must explain their thoughts in detail to be understood or respected. But true confidence does not need excessive explanation. It comes from knowing that your words, when chosen carefully, will carry more meaning. The illusion of influence. Many people assume that the more they talk, the more persuasive they are. But studies have shown that talking too much actually weakens influence. Think about the most powerful speakers in history. They did not speak for hours without pause. Instead, they used carefully chosen words. They paused for effect. They allowed their audience time to process their message. Their words were intentional, their silence meaningful. In contrast, when someone talks too much, their words lose impact. Listeners stop paying attention. The key to influence is not in the quantity of words but in their clarity and delivery. How talking less creates more impact. When you speak less, people listen more. Your words carry more weight. You appear more thoughtful and intentional. Conversations become more meaningful. Here are some ways speaking less can make you more powerful in communication. You appear more confident. People who choose their words carefully are seen as more knowledgeable and self-assured. You give others space to speak. True communication is a two-way process. Speaking less allows others to feel heard, which strengthens relationships. You make your words more meaningful. When you remove unnecessary words, your message becomes clearer and more impactful. You encourage deeper conversations. Instead of filling space with small talk, speaking less allows for more thoughtful, intentional discussions. The power of brevity in different situations. Understanding when to speak and when to stay silent is a skill that applies to every area of life. Here's how speaking less can benefit you in different situations. In business meetings, long-winded explanations often lose the listener. Keeping your points clear and concise makes you more effective and respected. In personal relationships, over-explaining can create unnecessary tension. Sometimes listening and responding with fewer words fosters a stronger emotional connection. In negotiations, the person who speaks less often holds more power. Silence can be a strategic tool, forcing the other party to reveal more information. In leadership, great leaders do not need to dominate conversations. They listen, observe, and speak only when necessary, making their words more powerful. Breaking the habit of over-talking. If you find yourself speaking too much, there are simple ways to shift your habits. Here are a few strategies. Practice pausing. Before responding in a conversation, take a brief pause. This allows you to collect your thoughts and ensure your words are meaningful. Be conscious of filler words. Words like like, and you know, often dilute your message. Becoming aware of these habits can help you speak more clearly. Ask more questions. Instead of feeling the need to fill space with words, turn the conversation around. Ask open-ended questions and give others the opportunity to speak. Set a time limit. If you are explaining something, challenge yourself to do it in half the time. This forces you to focus on the key message. Observe great communicators. Pay attention to people who speak with clarity and intention. Notice how they use pauses and choose their words carefully. Final thoughts. Speaking less is not about saying nothing. It is about saying what matters most. It is about choosing words that carry meaning and eliminating those that do not. In the next chapter, we will explore another powerful concept: the role of silence in communication. You will learn why silence is not empty but full of meaning, and how mastering the art of well-placed silence can make you a more effective communicator. For now, take a moment to reflect. The next time you are in a conversation, practice speaking less and listening more. Notice how the dynamics shift. Notice how your words carry more impact. And most importantly, notice how much more you understand when you say less. Chapter 3. Silence as a Strength. The power of saying nothing. Silence makes many people uncomfortable. They see it as emptiness, an awkward gap that must be filled with words. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful tools in communication. It creates space for reflection, gives weight to our words, and strengthens our presence. In this chapter, we will explore how silence can be a strength rather than a weakness. We will examine how it can help you become a better listener, a more effective leader, and a stronger communicator. You will learn how to embrace silence instead of fearing it, using it to enhance understanding, build trust, and increase your influence. Why silence feels uncomfortable. From an early age, we are taught that conversation is about speaking. We learn to answer quickly, fill gaps, and contribute to discussions without hesitation. As a result, many people view silence as something negative, a sign of disinterest, confusion, or awkwardness. But the discomfort we feel around silence is often misplaced. Silence does not mean disengagement. It does not signal a lack of confidence. In fact, it can be a sign of deep thought and intentional presence. Once we shift our mindset, we begin to see silence as a tool rather than a problem. The role of silence in listening. True listening requires more than just hearing words. It requires presence, attention, and most importantly, silence. When we stop interrupting and resist the urge to fill every pause, we allow others to express themselves fully. Think about the best conversations you have had. Chances are they included moments of quiet, pauses where thoughts settled, emotions surfaced, and deeper understanding emerged. These silent moments make room for others to feel heard and understood. Silence also helps us process what we hear. Instead of rushing to respond, we give ourselves time to absorb the message. This leads to more thoughtful and meaningful interactions. How silence enhances authority and influence. People who use silence strategically often command more respect. When someone speaks too much, their words can lose impact. But those who know when to stay silent project confidence and control. Think of great leaders, negotiators, and public speakers. They do not rush to fill every second with words. Instead, they use pauses to let their messages sink in. They understand that silence can create emphasis, anticipation, and authority. In negotiations, silence is particularly powerful. When one party makes an offer, the first to speak often loses ground. Silence creates tension, prompting the other person to reveal more information or reconsider their stance. This simple technique can shift the balance of power. The connection between silence and self-control. Speaking without thinking can lead to misunderstandings, unnecessary conflict, and lost credibility. Silence, on the other hand, allows for restraint. It gives us time to consider our words before we speak. When faced with criticism, for example, an immediate reaction may be defensive, but pausing before responding helps us manage emotions and choose a more constructive reply. Likewise, in difficult conversations, silence can create space for resolution rather than escalation. Self-controlled individuals understand that not every situation requires a verbal response. Sometimes the best reaction is to say nothing at all. The power of pausing in conversation. Pauses may feel unnatural at first, but they are a key element of effective communication. A well-timed pause can show confidence. Those who pause before speaking appear more thoughtful and deliberate. Create anticipation. Silence before an important point builds suspense and engagement. Encourage others to share. By holding back, you invite others to contribute more to the conversation. Allow for clarity. Pauses help separate ideas, making it easier for listeners to absorb information. Practicing intentional pauses can transform the way you communicate. It shifts the focus from speed to meaning, ensuring that every word counts. Using silence to strengthen relationships. Not all communication happens through words. Sometimes silence speaks louder than anything we could say. In moments of grief, support, or deep connection, silence can be more comforting than words. Being present without speaking allows others to feel your support without pressure or expectation. Silence also plays a role in resolving conflicts. When tensions are high, taking a moment of quiet can prevent impulsive remarks and allow both sides to regain composure. It signals a willingness to listen rather than react. How to embrace silence in daily life. To become comfortable with silence, practice incorporating it into your conversations and daily routines. Here are a few ways to start. Resist the urge to fill pauses. Next time a conversation falls silent, do not rush to fill the gap. Let it be. Use silence before responding. When asked a question, pause before answering. This shows you are giving the response careful thought. Observe the impact of silence. Notice how silence changes the dynamics of a conversation. See how people respond differently when you pause. Practice mindful listening. In discussions, focus entirely on the speaker. Avoid formulating your response while they are talking. Embrace moments of quiet. Spend time in silence throughout the day. Whether through meditation, reflection, or simply sitting without distractions, silence can help train your mind to be more comfortable with stillness. Final thoughts. Silence is not empty, it is full of meaning. It is a tool that strengthens communication, enhances authority, and deepens relationships. When you learn to embrace silence rather than fear it, you gain more control over conversations, improve your listening skills, and make your words more impactful. In the next chapter, we will explore how asking the right questions can further enhance your understanding and influence. You will discover how thoughtful questioning leads to deeper conversations, stronger connections, and a greater ability to uncover what truly matters. For now, take a moment to reflect. Pay attention to silence in your conversations today. Notice how it shifts interactions. Notice how it makes you feel. And most importantly, notice how much more you understand when you say less and listen more. Chapter 4. The Art of Asking Questions. Why questions matter. A well-placed question can do more than elicit an answer. It can spark deep thought, build stronger relationships, and uncover hidden truths. The right question at the right time can change the direction of a conversation, challenge assumptions, and even shift perspectives. Yet many people do not realize the true power of asking questions. In this chapter, we will explore why asking questions is a critical skill in communication. We will uncover how questions can help you gain insight, encourage meaningful conversations, and demonstrate intelligence and curiosity. By learning how to ask better questions, you will enhance your ability to understand others while speaking less yourself. The difference between good and bad questions. Not all questions are equal. Some open doors to new ideas, while others shut conversations down. The key to asking powerful questions is to be intentional. Good questions invite discussion, exploration, and connection. Bad questions feel interrogative, judgmental, or disengaged. Consider these two examples. Bad question. Why did you do it that way? This question sounds accusatory and may make the other person defensive. Good question. What led you to approach it that way? This question encourages reflection and invites an open, thoughtful response. The way you phrase a question determines the kind of response you get. Learning how to shape your questions carefully can make all the difference in communication. Types of questions that deepen conversations. To become a skilled communicator, it is essential to understand different types of questions and when to use them. Open-ended questions. These questions encourage elaborate responses instead of simple yes or no answers. Example, what do you think about this idea? Open-ended questions allow for deeper insights and foster meaningful discussions. Reflective questions. These questions help people analyze their own thoughts and feelings. Example, how did that experience shape your perspective? Reflective questions encourage self-awareness and introspection. Clarifying questions. These questions ensure you understand what the other person is saying. Example, when you say difficult, what do you mean exactly? Clarifying questions help eliminate misunderstandings and improve mutual understanding. Probing questions. These questions encourage deeper thinking and challenge assumptions. Example, what would happen if you approached it differently? Probing questions push the conversation forward and lead to new insights. Empathetic questions. These questions show care and interest in the speaker's emotions. Example, how did that make you feel? Empathetic questions help build trust and emotional connection. The role of silence after asking a question. One of the most overlooked aspects of asking great questions is knowing when to stay silent. Often people rush to fill the silence after asking a question, which can disrupt the other person's thought process. After you ask a meaningful question, pause and wait. Give the other person time to think and respond. Silence allows them to process their thoughts and ensures that their answer is genuine and considered. This is especially important in sensitive or complex discussions. Using questions to strengthen relationships. Asking questions is one of the best ways to deepen relationships. When you show genuine curiosity about another person's experiences, ideas, and feelings, you make them feel valued and understood. Here are some ways to use questions to strengthen personal and professional relationships. In friendships, ask about their dreams, challenges, and interests. Example, what's something exciting you've been working on lately? In the workplace, ask colleagues for their perspectives and ideas. Example, how do you think we could improve this process? In leadership, use questions to empower others. Example, what do you need to be successful in this project? In family relationships, show interest in their thoughts and emotions. Example, what was the best part of your day? The power of asking questions in difficult conversations. Difficult conversations can be emotionally charged, making it easy to fall into the trap of arguing rather than understanding. Asking thoughtful questions can shift the conversation from confrontation to resolution. For example, instead of saying "you never listen to me," try asking "what can we do to communicate better?" A question like this invites collaboration rather than defensiveness. Questions can also be used to diffuse tension. If someone is upset, asking "can you help me understand what's bothering you?" shows that you are open to listening rather than reacting emotionally. How to develop the habit of asking better questions. Be present, truly engage in the conversation and listen actively. Be curious, approach discussions with a mindset of learning, not judging. Practice reframing. If a question sounds harsh, reword it to be more inviting. Observe great questioners, pay attention to how skilled communicators use questions. Challenge yourself. Before making a statement, see if you can turn it into a question instead. Final thoughts. The art of asking questions is one of the most valuable communication skills you can develop. It allows you to gain deeper understanding, foster meaningful relationships, and navigate conversations with confidence and ease. In the next chapter, we will explore how to read between the lines, understanding not just the words people say but the emotions, intentions, and hidden messages behind them. You will learn how to become more perceptive and recognize what is left unsaid. For now, challenge yourself to ask more intentional questions today. Notice how people respond, notice how conversations open up, and most importantly, notice how much more you understand when you ask rather than assume. Chapter 5. How to read between the lines. Understanding more than just words. Communication is more than just the words we speak. True understanding comes from recognizing tone, body language, pauses, and the emotions hidden beneath the surface. Often, the most important messages are unspoken. Learning to read between the lines can help you uncover what people truly mean, even when they are not saying it outright. In this chapter, we will explore how to go beyond the surface of conversations. You will learn how to identify hidden emotions, interpret nonverbal cues, and understand what is left unsaid. By mastering this skill, you will become a more perceptive listener, strengthening both personal and professional relationships. Why people do not always say what they mean. Many factors influence how people communicate. Social norms, personal fears, or the desire to avoid conflict often lead individuals to speak indirectly. They may soften their words, leave out key details, or use vague language to mask their true feelings. For example, when someone says "I'm fine," they may not actually be fine. Their words may say one thing, but their tone, facial expression, or body language may reveal something entirely different. The ability to recognize these discrepancies is what separates ordinary listeners from truly insightful communicators. Recognizing nonverbal cues. Much of what people communicate is done through nonverbal signals. Understanding these cues can give you a deeper insight into a person's true emotions and intentions. Here are some key areas to focus on. Facial expressions. A person's face often reflects their real feelings, even when their words do not. Raised eyebrows, a slight frown, or tightened lips can reveal hesitation, doubt, or frustration. Tone of voice. The way something is said can change its meaning. A flat tone may indicate disinterest, while an overly enthusiastic response may hide nervousness or uncertainty. Body language, crossed arms, avoiding eye contact, or shifting weight from one foot to another can indicate discomfort or defensiveness. Pauses and hesitations. If someone takes longer to respond or hesitates before answering, they may be carefully choosing their words or concealing their true thoughts. Micro-expressions. These are small, involuntary facial expressions that last only a fraction of a second. They can reveal emotions such as anger, surprise, or sadness before a person consciously controls their response. How to detect hidden emotions. To truly understand what someone is feeling, listen beyond their words. Here are a few strategies. Compare words to actions. If someone's words do not match their expressions or actions, trust what you see rather than what you hear. Ask clarifying questions. If you sense something deeper, gently probe for more information. Example, you say you're okay but you seem a little off today. Is something bothering you? Listen to what is not said. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. If someone avoids answering a question, deflects or changes the subject, there may be something they are unwilling or unable to say. Pay attention to patterns. If someone frequently dodges certain topics or responds in a vague manner, they may be withholding information or struggling with internal conflict. Reading between the lines in different contexts. In personal relationships. If a friend constantly says they are fine but withdraws from conversations or activities, they may need support, but do not know how to ask for it. If a loved one responds with short answers and avoids eye contact, they may be upset but unwilling to express it openly. In the workplace. A coworker who agrees to take on extra work but shows visible hesitation may feel overwhelmed but does not want to appear weak. A boss who says, "This is just a suggestion," may actually be giving a directive but wants to appear flexible. In negotiations and discussions. If someone says, "That's an interesting point," but does not elaborate, they may be unconvinced or disagree but do not want to openly challenge you. If a potential client says, "We'll think about it," without asking follow-up questions, they may have already decided against the offer but do not want to say no outright. How to respond when you notice hidden messages. Once you start recognizing hidden emotions and unspoken messages, the next step is knowing how to respond appropriately. Here's how: acknowledge without pressuring. If you sense someone is holding back, acknowledge their feelings without forcing them to share. Example, "I get the feeling there's more to this. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." Use gentle encouragement. If you want to help someone open up, make them feel safe and understood. Example, "You seem a little hesitant. Is there anything you'd like to add?" Mirror their emotions. Reflecting someone's feelings back to them can build trust and encourage deeper discussion. Example, "It sounds like you're frustrated. Would you like to talk more about what's bothering you?" Give space when needed. Not everyone is ready to open up immediately. Sometimes, simply being patient and available is enough. Example, "I won't push but just know I'm here whenever you're ready to talk." Final thoughts. The ability to read between the lines is one of the most valuable skills in communication. It allows you to understand people on a deeper level, helping you navigate relationships, conversations, and negotiations with greater insight. In the next chapter, we will explore how to craft thoughtful responses, ensuring that when you do speak, your words carry meaning and impact. You will learn how to make your responses intentional, clear, and effective in any situation. For now, take a moment to observe the unspoken messages around you. Pay attention to tone, expressions, and gestures. Notice how much you can understand, even without words. The more you practice, the more naturally this skill will come to you. Chapter 6. The Secret of Thoughtful Responses. Why your responses matter. Every word you choose in a conversation carries weight. Thoughtless responses can create misunderstandings, while well-crafted ones can deepen relationships and build trust. A thoughtful response is more than just a reply. It is a reflection of how well you listen, process, and connect with others. In this chapter, we will explore how to craft responses that are intentional, clear, and impactful. You will learn how to avoid reactive replies, pause for deeper understanding, and ensure your words add value to every conversation. The problem with speaking too quickly. Many people feel pressure to respond immediately in conversations. They fear silence or believe that faster replies make them seem more intelligent or engaged. But quick responses often lead to misunderstandings or surface-level discussions. Speaking without thinking can result in saying something you later regret, cause misinterpretations or unnecessary conflicts, make you seem inattentive or dismissive, reduce the depth and meaning of the conversation. The secret to thoughtful responses is simple: pause before you speak. Even a few seconds of reflection can help you form a more meaningful reply. How to pause for better responses. A well-timed pause can transform your communication. Here's how to incorporate it into your conversations. Take a breath. Before responding, take a slow breath. This creates space for processing and prevents impulsive replies. Repeat the question in your mind. Before answering, silently repeat the key part of the question or statement. This helps ensure you are responding to the right point. Acknowledge before responding. A simple acknowledgement like, "That's a great point," or "I hear what you're saying," gives you a moment to organize your thoughts. Use a deliberate opening phrase. Instead of jumping straight into your response, try phrases like, "Let me think about that for a second. That's an interesting perspective. Here's how I see it. I appreciate you bringing that up. Here's my take." How to ensure your words add value. Not every response requires deep analysis, but every response should contribute positively to the conversation. Before speaking, consider, is this response necessary? Does it help the conversation move forward? Am I repeating what was already said? Does my tone match my intent? The power of saying less. Sometimes, the most thoughtful response is a simple one. You do not need to over-explain or dominate the conversation to make an impact. Often, brief but intentional words create the most meaningful exchanges. For example, instead of saying, "I completely agree with everything you said, and I think it's great because of X, Y, and Z," try "I completely agree. That's a great insight." Instead of rambling through an answer, pause and respond only with what is essential. When in doubt, say less but with more meaning. Responding to difficult conversations with thoughtfulness. When a conversation becomes challenging, whether it's conflict, criticism, or an emotional discussion, your response matters even more. Thoughtful responses in difficult moments can prevent escalation and foster understanding. Here are some techniques for responding thoughtfully. Stay calm. If the conversation is heated, take a deep breath before responding. Acknowledge without defensiveness. Example, "I see where you're coming from." Ask clarifying questions. Example, "Can you help me understand what you mean by that?" Choose your tone carefully. Even the right words can be misinterpreted if the tone feels dismissive or sharp. Delay, if necessary. If emotions are high, say, "I'd like to think about this before responding. Can we continue this discussion later?" The balance between listening and responding. A thoughtful response is only possible when you truly listen. Instead of thinking about your reply while the other person is speaking, focus entirely on their words. When you listen first and respond second, your words carry more depth and understanding. Try the following approach. Listen fully. Avoid formulating your response while the other person is talking. Process for a moment. Give yourself a few seconds to absorb what was said. Respond with purpose. Choose words that acknowledge, add insight, or ask a meaningful question. Final thoughts. The way you respond in conversations shapes how others perceive you. Thoughtful responses show intelligence, emotional awareness, and genuine engagement. By learning to pause, choosing words carefully, and ensuring your responses add value, you will become a more powerful and respected communicator. In the next chapter, we will explore the challenge of controlling the urge to speak, learning when to hold back, why restraint is a strength, and how to create more impact with fewer words. For now, practice pausing before you speak. Notice the difference it makes in your conversations. Pay attention to how a few extra seconds of thoughtfulness can transform the way others respond to you. Chapter 7. Controlling the urge to speak. Why we feel the need to speak. Have you ever been in a conversation where you felt the urge to jump in, offer your opinion, or fill the silence? Many people equate speaking with engagement, intelligence, or authority. The reality, however, is that speaking less can often make a stronger impact. In this chapter, we will explore why we feel the need to speak, how excessive talking can dilute our message, and how learning to control this impulse can lead to better communication, deeper understanding, and stronger influence. The problem with speaking too much. When we speak too often or too quickly, we risk losing the attention and respect of our audience. Here's why: dilution of meaning. The more words we use, the less impact each one carries. Lack of listening. When we are focused on speaking, we often fail to hear what others are saying. Reduced influence. People who talk excessively can come across as insecure or overbearing. Missed opportunities. Silence often invites deeper insights and responses from others. Understanding the impulse to speak. Before we learn to control the urge to speak, we must first understand where it comes from. Here are some common reasons people feel the need to fill the silence. Fear of awkwardness. Many people are uncomfortable with silence and feel the need to fill it with words. Desire to prove knowledge. Some speak excessively to showcase intelligence or expertise. Impulse to fix problems, offering immediate advice or solutions rather than allowing space for thought. Seeking validation, speaking to gain approval or reassurance from others. Habitual over-talking. Some people simply have a habit of speaking without considering whether it adds value. How to resist the urge to speak. Controlling the impulse to speak is a skill that can be developed with practice. Here are some effective strategies. Pause before responding. Before you speak, take a brief pause. This allows you to consider whether your words are necessary. Example: instead of immediately responding to a question, take a moment to process it. Practice active listening. Shift your focus from what you want to say to what the other person is expressing. Repeat back key points in your mind to ensure understanding. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Before speaking, ask, does this add value? Am I speaking for my benefit or for the benefit of the conversation? Embrace silence. Silence is not a void, it is an opportunity for deeper thought and engagement. Allow moments of quiet in conversations to encourage reflection and stronger responses. Use fewer words for greater impact. Instead of long-winded explanations, aim for brevity and clarity. Example: instead of saying what I think we need to do here, is focus more on efficiency, because efficiency is what really drives success. Try efficiency drives success. Let's focus on that. The power of holding back. Learning when not to speak can be just as powerful as knowing what to say. Here are some situations where holding back can be beneficial. During emotional conversations, pausing before responding helps prevent defensive or reactionary statements. In group discussions, speaking less allows others to contribute and creates a more balanced dialogue. When someone needs support, sometimes silence is the best response. Being present without words can be more comforting than offering solutions. When negotiating, silence can create tension that prompts the other party to reveal more information or reconsider their position. Replacing speaking with thoughtful action. Instead of filling space with words, consider these alternatives. Use nonverbal communication. A nod, a thoughtful expression, or eye contact can convey just as much as words. Write before you speak. If you struggle with over-talking, jot down your thoughts before responding. Encourage others to speak. Instead of offering your opinion immediately, ask, what do you think? Final thoughts. Mastering the art of restraint in speech does not mean staying silent. It means choosing your words with care. When you control the urge to speak, your words become more impactful, your presence more respected, and your conversations more meaningful. In the next chapter, we will explore listening like a leader, how great leaders use strategic listening to influence, inspire, and build trust. For now, challenge yourself to pause more, speak less, and observe the difference it makes in your interactions. Chapter 8. Listening like a leader. The power of leadership through listening. Great leaders are not defined by how much they speak, but by how well they listen. Leadership is not about having all the answers. It is about understanding people, recognizing their needs, and responding with wisdom. Listening is the foundation of trust, influence, and effective decision-making. In this chapter, we will explore how leaders use listening as a powerful tool. You will learn how to develop active listening skills, create meaningful connections, and use silence to your advantage. By mastering the art of listening, you will not only gain respect, but also become a leader others want to follow. Why leaders listen more than they speak. There is a misconception that strong leaders must always be the loudest voices in the room. In reality, the most respected leaders speak less and listen more. Here's why. They gather valuable insights. Leaders who listen gain a clearer understanding of problems, needs, and potential solutions. They build stronger relationships. People feel valued when they are heard. This fosters trust and loyalty. They make better decisions. Instead of acting on assumptions, leaders who listen make informed choices. They empower others. Great leaders encourage others to share ideas, fostering innovation and collaboration. The core elements of leadership listening. To listen like a leader, you need to go beyond hearing words. You must engage with intention, curiosity, and presence. Here are the key elements: active listening. Engage fully by giving undivided attention, maintaining eye contact, and acknowledging what is being said. Asking the right questions. Leaders use open-ended and probing questions to gain deeper insights. Reading between the lines. True listening involves understanding not just words but emotions, tone, and unspoken concerns. Holding back immediate judgment. Effective leaders listen without jumping to conclusions or interrupting. Responding thoughtfully. After absorbing the information, leaders respond with clarity and purpose. How to practice leadership listening. To strengthen your leadership presence through listening, practice these techniques. Give your full attention. Put away distractions. Focus entirely on the speaker. Show engagement through nodding, eye contact, and subtle verbal affirmations like "I see" or "Tell me more." Embrace the power of silence. Do not rush to fill pauses. Silence allows others to reflect and elaborate. Use brief pauses before responding to ensure your words are intentional. Ask impactful questions. Instead of giving immediate solutions, ask guiding questions such as, "What do you think would be the best approach? How can I support you in solving this?" Listen without thinking about your response. Many people listen just to reply. A leader listens to understand first. Absorb the full message before crafting your response. Validate and acknowledge. Even if you do not agree, acknowledge the speaker's perspective. Example: "I see your point, and I appreciate you sharing your view." How listening strengthens leadership influence. People follow leaders they trust, and trust is built through listening. Here's how listening enhances leadership influence. Employees feel heard and valued. When leaders listen, team members feel respected and are more engaged. Stronger problem solving. Leaders who listen gather diverse perspectives, leading to better solutions. Increased loyalty and morale. People are more committed to leaders who care about their input. Reduced conflicts. Many conflicts arise from misunderstandings. Leaders who listen prevent unnecessary tensions. The leadership skill of listening in difficult situations. Leaders face tough conversations, delivering criticism, handling disagreements, or navigating crises. Listening becomes even more critical in these moments. Here's how to lead with listening in difficult situations. Stay calm and open. Even if emotions run high, maintain a neutral tone and posture. Let the other person speak first. Allow them to fully express their thoughts before responding. Use reflective listening. Repeat back key points to show understanding. Example: "What I hear you saying is." Ask clarifying questions. Ensure clarity before making a decision or responding. End with a solution-oriented approach. Example: "I appreciate your perspective. Let's work together to find the best way forward." Final thoughts. Listening is not just a skill, it is a leadership superpower. When you master the ability to listen with intent, you gain the respect and trust of those around you. Strong leaders do not dominate conversations, they create space for others to be heard. In the next chapter, we will explore the psychology of understanding, how the human brain processes communication, and why listening leads to deeper comprehension. For now, challenge yourself to listen like a leader. In your next conversation, practice full engagement, ask meaningful questions, and observe how people respond when they truly feel heard. Chapter 9. The Psychology of Understanding. How the brain processes communication. Understanding is more than just hearing words, it is about interpreting meaning, recognizing emotions, and making connections. The human brain is wired to process communication in complex ways, filtering information based on past experiences, emotions, and biases. In this chapter, we will explore the psychology behind understanding. You will learn how the brain absorbs information, why we sometimes misinterpret messages, and how improving your awareness of these processes can make you a more effective communicator. The science of listening and comprehension. When we listen, our brains engage in a series of rapid functions, receiving information. Sound waves enter the ear and are translated into electrical signals. Processing meaning. The brain compares new information with stored knowledge to assign meaning. Emotional filtering. Depending on our mood or experiences, we may interpret messages differently. Memory and retention. Information is either stored for later recall or dismissed if deemed unimportant. Understanding these steps can help you refine how you listen and interpret conversations more effectively. Why people interpret messages differently. No two people understand a message in exactly the same way. Several psychological factors shape how we interpret information. Cognitive biases. Our beliefs and past experiences influence how we perceive what we hear. Emotional state. Someone feeling stressed may interpret a neutral comment as criticism. Context and environment. Background noise, distractions, or previous discussions affect understanding. Assumptions and expectations. We often predict what someone will say and hear what we expect instead of what is actually said. How to improve your understanding. To enhance comprehension and avoid misunderstandings, try these strategies. Be fully present. Give your full attention to the speaker. Avoid distractions and internal thoughts. Clarify and confirm. If something is unclear, ask for clarification instead of assuming meaning. Be aware of emotional influences. Recognize how emotions may be affecting your interpretation. Slow down your response. Allow yourself time to process before replying. Practice perspective taking. Try to see the message from the speaker's point of view. The role of empathy in understanding. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. It plays a crucial role in communication because it helps us connect beyond words. Ways to practice empathetic understanding. Listen to emotions, not just words. Pay attention to tone, facial expressions, and body language. Acknowledge feelings. Show that you recognize the speaker's emotions. Example: it sounds like that was really frustrating for you. Resist judgment. Try to understand before forming an opinion or offering advice. Overcoming barriers to understanding. Even the best communicators face challenges in understanding others. Here are common barriers and how to overcome them. Distractions. Find a quiet space and give your full attention. Preconceived notions. Enter conversations with an open mind, rather than expecting a specific response. Emotional reactions. Take a step back if emotions cloud your ability to understand objectively. Overcomplicating messages. Simplify your own communication to make it easier for others to understand you as well. Final thoughts. Understanding is a skill that goes beyond simply hearing words. It requires awareness, patience, and the ability to interpret meaning beyond what is spoken. In the next chapter, we will explore how speaking less and understanding more can strengthen relationships, helping you connect on a deeper level with those around you. For now, take a moment to reflect on how you listen and process conversations. Challenge yourself to slow down, ask clarifying questions, and focus on the true intent behind words, not just the words themselves. Chapter 10. Building Stronger Relationships. The Foundation of Meaningful Connections. Strong relationships, whether personal or professional, are built on trust, understanding, and meaningful communication. The ability to listen, speak with intention, and respond with empathy can transform how we connect with others. When we speak less and listen more, we create deeper bonds and stronger connections. In this chapter, we will explore the key elements of building strong relationships. You will learn how to enhance communication, develop emotional intelligence, and create lasting connections with those around you. Why relationships succeed or struggle. Many relationships struggle not because of major conflicts, but due to small misunderstandings, poor listening, and a lack of meaningful interaction. Here are a few common reasons relationships weaken over time. Lack of active listening. When people feel unheard, they withdraw. Assuming instead of asking, making assumptions instead of seeking clarity creates misunderstandings. Speaking without intention. Words spoken carelessly can damage trust and connection. Emotional misalignment. Not recognizing or validating emotions can create distance. Not being present. Distractions such as technology can prevent genuine connection. The power of listening in relationships. Listening is one of the most valuable tools for building and maintaining strong relationships. When people feel heard, they feel valued. Here's how you can improve your listening skills to strengthen your connections. Give full attention, make eye contact, nod, and use verbal affirmations like "I understand." Resist the urge to interrupt. Let the other person finish speaking before responding. Ask open-ended questions. Encourage deeper conversations by asking thoughtful questions. Reflect and validate. Repeat key points to show you understand. Example: it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed. Is that right? How speaking less can strengthen bonds. When we speak less and focus on understanding, our words carry more weight. Here's why speaking less can actually enhance relationships. It shows you value the other person. When you listen more than you speak, you show that their thoughts matter. It creates space for deeper conversations. Instead of dominating the discussion, you allow it to evolve naturally. It reduces miscommunication. Fewer words when chosen wisely. Leave less room for misunderstandings. It builds trust. When people feel they can speak without being interrupted, they open up more. Developing emotional intelligence in relationships. Emotional intelligence (EQ) plays a crucial role in building strong relationships. High EQ helps you understand emotions, both your own and others, leading to better communication and connection. Ways to improve emotional intelligence. Recognize your own emotions. Before responding, take a moment to identify how you feel. Manage reactions. Respond rather than react. If you feel triggered, pause before speaking. Read nonverbal cues. Pay attention to body language, tone, and facial expressions. Express empathy. Validate feelings before offering advice or solutions. Strengthening relationships in different areas of life. Personal relationships. Show appreciation through small gestures and kind words. Be present during conversations. Avoid distractions like checking your phone. Handle conflicts with patience and understanding rather than immediate reactions. Professional relationships. Encourage collaboration by listening to different perspectives. Offer constructive feedback with kindness and clarity. Build trust by following through on commitments. Friendships. Be a supportive listener rather than always offering solutions. Respect boundaries and personal space. Celebrate successes and be there during difficult times. The role of silence in strengthening relationships. Silence is not just the absence of words, it is a powerful tool for connection. Knowing when to stay silent allows space for deeper reflection and prevents unnecessary conflicts. Ways to use silence effectively. After asking a deep question, give the other person time to think. During moments of tension, silence can diffuse arguments by allowing emotions to settle. As a form of support, sometimes sitting in silence with someone is more powerful than offering words. Final thoughts. Strong relationships are built on more than words. They thrive on deep listening, emotional intelligence, and intentional communication. By speaking less and understanding more, you create meaningful connections that stand the test of time. In the next chapter, we will explore the concept of quiet confidence, how embracing stillness and choosing words carefully can make you more influential and respected in any situation. For now, take a moment to reflect on your relationships. How often do you truly listen? How can you use silence to strengthen your connections? Challenge yourself to be more present in your conversations and observe the difference it makes. Chapter 11. The Quiet Confidence Approach. The Strength in Stillness. Confidence is often associated with speaking boldly, taking up space and making your presence known. But true confidence is not about volume. It is about presence. The most respected individuals are often those who speak less but convey strength through their silence, their actions, and their carefully chosen words. In this chapter, we will explore the power of quiet confidence. You will learn how to project assurance without excessive talking, how to use silence as a tool, and how to cultivate an inner calm that makes people respect and listen to you. What is quiet confidence? Quiet confidence is a state of being where you trust in your abilities and worth without needing to constantly prove them to others. It is the ability to command respect without demanding attention. Here's how quiet confidence differs from traditional confidence. Loud confidence seeks validation from others, needs to be heard, and often over-explains. Quiet confidence knows when to speak, listens more than talks, and lets actions speak for themselves. Quietly confident people do not rush to fill silence, do not feel the need to always be right, and do not let external opinions shake their sense of self. How to cultivate quiet confidence. Developing quiet confidence requires a shift in mindset and behavior. Here are some ways to strengthen your inner confidence. Embrace silence. Resist the urge to fill every gap in conversation. Let silence create space for deeper interactions. Understand that silence can be a sign of wisdom and thoughtfulness, not weakness. Speak with intention. Choose your words carefully. When you do speak, ensure your message is clear and impactful. Avoid over-explaining. Say what needs to be said, then let it stand. Be comfortable with not knowing everything. Confident people do not need to pretend they have all the answers. They ask questions and embrace learning. Saying "I don't know" or "let me think about that" shows humility and strength. Use nonverbal confidence. Cues. Maintain good posture and steady eye contact. Use slow, deliberate movements rather than fidgeting or rushing. A calm and composed demeanor speaks volumes. Listen more than you speak. Listening is a sign of strength. When you truly listen, people feel heard and respected. Instead of preparing your response while someone is speaking, focus entirely on understanding their words. The power of saying less. People who are confident in themselves do not feel the need to talk excessively. Here's why saying less can be more powerful. It makes people pay attention. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. It reduces mistakes and misinterpretations. The fewer unnecessary words you use, the clearer your message becomes. It creates an aura of mystery and strength. Those who do not always reveal everything maintain an air of intrigue and self-control. Using silence as a tool. Silence is not empty. It is a form of communication. It can be used strategically to create impact, build tension, and demonstrate confidence. Ways to use silence effectively. In conversations, a well-placed pause before responding can make your words more powerful. In leadership, leaders who listen more and speak less command greater respect. In conflict, silence can diffuse tension and prevent unnecessary arguments. Handling criticism with quiet confidence. Confident people do not react emotionally to criticism. Instead, they pause before responding. Take a moment to process before reacting. Separate emotion from logic. Assess whether the criticism is constructive and respond accordingly. Thank the critic, if appropriate. A simple "I appreciate your feedback" can disarm negativity. Choose when to respond and when to walk away. Not every criticism deserves a reply. Final thoughts. Quiet confidence is not about being silent. It is about knowing when to speak and when to let your presence do the talking. It is about trusting in your value without needing constant validation from others. In the next chapter, we will explore how to put all these lessons into action, developing daily habits that reinforce the art of speaking less and understanding more. For now, challenge yourself to practice quiet confidence. Speak less, listen more, and notice how your presence alone can shift the dynamics of a conversation. Chapter 12. Practicing the art of less, turning knowledge into action. Understanding the power of speaking less and listening more is just the beginning. The real transformation happens when you apply these principles in your daily life. Practicing the art of less does not mean staying silent or disengaging. It means being intentional with your words, listening with purpose, and allowing space for deeper understanding. In this final chapter, we will explore practical ways to integrate these lessons into your communication style. You will learn how to develop daily habits that reinforce meaningful conversations, increase your presence, and enhance your influence. By doing less but achieving more. The mindset shift, from more to meaningful. To truly embrace the art of less, you must change the way you think about communication. Instead of believing that more words equal more value, shift your mindset to focus on clarity, impact, and connection. Ask yourself, does this need to be said? If not, stay silent. Am I speaking to add value or just to fill space? What will be lost if I do not say this? If the answer is nothing, reconsider speaking. This shift will help you communicate with greater intention and purpose. Daily habits to speak less and understand more. Pause before responding. Take a few seconds before answering to ensure your response is meaningful. Silence before speaking shows thoughtfulness and confidence. Practice active listening. Focus entirely on the speaker without thinking about your response. Use nonverbal cues like nodding and eye contact to show engagement. Summarize what you heard to confirm understanding. Limit filler words and unnecessary details. Avoid saying like and you know excessively. Get to the point without over-explaining. Example, instead of saying, I was thinking that maybe we could consider this approach because it might be beneficial. Say, this approach could work well because of these benefits. Use silence as a tool. Let silence create space for deeper conversation. Instead of rushing to answer, let others process and contribute. Ask more questions. Instead of offering opinions immediately, ask, what do you think? Thoughtful questions invite richer discussions and help you understand others better. How less talking leads to greater influence. People who speak less often have more impact when they do speak. Here's why. They are perceived as more thoughtful. Speaking only when necessary signals intelligence and restraint. Their words carry more weight. If you are selective with your words, people listen more attentively. They make others feel heard. When you listen more than you speak, people trust and respect you. Applying the art of less in different areas of life. In personal relationships, be present instead of thinking about what to say next. Listen without offering immediate advice. Sometimes people just need to be heard. Say, I understand more often instead of rushing to fix things. In the workplace, speak only when your input is valuable. Avoid dominating meetings. Observe, listen, and contribute meaningfully. Ask, how can I support this? Instead of always leading the discussion. In leadership, let silence encourage deeper thinking in others. Use fewer but stronger words to motivate and inspire. Give others the space to share ideas instead of always directing the conversation. Measuring your progress. To ensure you are making real changes, reflect on your conversations regularly. Did I listen more than I spoke today? Did I pause before responding? Did I ask more questions than I gave answers? Did I allow silence to be part of the conversation? Tracking these behaviors will help reinforce your new communication habits. Final thoughts. The art of less is not about saying nothing. It is about making every word count. By embracing intentional communication, you will become more respected, more influential, and more deeply connected with others. This is not a one-time change but a lifelong practice. The more you apply these principles, the more natural they will become. Now, it is time to take what you have learned and put it into action. Speak less, listen more, and watch how your presence and influence grow in every conversation you have.